The SGC tries to start a mining operation. The second gate is active, and Jack becomes real smart. All tonight on Chevron Locked. Hello, and welcome everybody to episode 12 of Chevron Locked, a Stargate podcast. My name is BC. I'm joined as always by Kevin. Kevin,
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm pretty good, man. I'm excited to be recording again. We took I guess we took 2 weeks off, but we had already pre-recorded a couple of episodes and had them out there, so it feels good to get back into to the normal routine.
Yeah, I was really jonesing for some episodes this week, so this is good.
I was too. I was down in Nashville for like 3 days for a bachelor party. And have you ever been to Nashville?
No, I haven't. My parents have, but I've never made it down there.
It's we had a blast. The city of Nashville, the people of Nashville were absolutely amazing. And the golfing was fantastic. To golf that early in March on some of the nicest courses, it was a blast. But man, there were so many people down there on the weekends. Friday and Saturday night, Broadway Street, which is like the downtown part of Nashville, where all the bars and restaurants are. You're just shoulder to shoulder with people. Like it was just chaos. But
that sounds like a nightmare to me. I'm sorry.
Working in the bar industry kind of prepares you for things like that. But I will say this, man, everybody was just super friendly, super nice. We just had some great conversations with local people down there, and it was a blast. But I was missing out on Stargate, and that was a problem for me. So, and I had to back myself off because I had a 10-hour car ride, and I was like, maybe I'll just watch some Stargate, and I had to force myself not to. So,
probably for the best.
I think so. So
tough to watch while driving.
Oh well, I didn't drive down there. But I did
come on, you should have leaned into it. You should have been like, well, yeah, but I would have done it anyway.
Because I had a sneaky suspicion that proved to be correct, that we went out, we really partied hard on Saturday, which was the stupidest thing to do, knowing that we were all leaving Sunday afternoon, Sunday morning. And the best man and the bachelor had to be helped to the car Sunday morning and just thrown in the back seat and given a couple blankets and you boys go back to bed. Don't get out of the car until we get back home. You boys are still hammered,
Yep.
So, but tonight we are looking at, what are we looking at? Season 2, episodes 35, 36, 37.
Season 2, episodes 13, 14, and 15 as
okay.
listed.
But yeah.
Spirits,
Touchstone, and the Fifth Race. 2 out of 3, right out of the ballpark for me.
3 out of 3 of the best episodes ever.
Oh, well, see, there we go. I did not think one of them could classify best episodes ever, but,
no, I just like to fight with you. So,
dude, Joe, bring it on. It's been 2 weeks since I've argued with you, so I'm ready. I am ready to go, sir. Yeah. So let's just jump right into it with Spirits.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Walk us through Spirits.
So, all right. This episode starts with an SG team missing. Jack gets shot in the arm again for some reason, and the rest of the crew go to find out why he was shot in the arm through a Stargate by a metal arrow that looks like the best thing ever. When they get there, they also try to figure out what happened to that SG team, and it turns out that these explorers tried to take the land of the natives, which I think is a great little narrative on the Native American aspect of this, and the base gets invaded in a wacky series of events, and then they befriend everybody and they live happily ever after.
The end. Next episode.
No, you know what? I thought it was great to find another alien race out there. and one that we can now live with. You know, it was like whenever two superheroes in the comics meet, you get that wacky misunderstanding. They fight each other for a while, and then they go and fight someone else. And I loved that we, you know, kind of rubbed up against these guys the wrong way, and by the end, we were best buddies and going out for a beer.
Oh, so like both races' moms were named Martha? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you know what? That is precisely what I'm getting at. Yes.
Oh, okay. You should have just said that. I would have gotten that then.
Except less dumb than that, because I didn't want to bring that up.
No, that's all right. That's all right. No, I didn't hate this episode. Okay. I didn't. I thought that, so one of the things that we always seem to talk about is I really like the episodes that kind of propel the overall story. And we got Trinium, right?
Yep. So we get that sort of
new
alloy.
introduction to a new alloy, a new metal. And then other than that, I mean, we did get a new race whose name, I guess, they just call them the Spirits, right? Like, did they ever give themselves, like, we are the...
No, I don't think they did. I think they just kind of took over the role of the gods for everybody. So I don't think there was anything.
Okay. So, but we were introduced to another race. Cool. I'm good with that. I took some exceptions with Tunani in how he was written, I guess, is that he was almost written as a really simple simpleton.
Yeah, he was like a child.
Yeah, very childlike in the way he talked, in his mannerisms, in the way he's like, I don't know, let's ask him. You know, like that type of, his dialogue, I don't know. Because there was a scene where they have to go visit the village elders and Sam wants to ask permission, to start mining this trinium. And, everyone else, you know, the village elders, the dialogue was all great, I thought. You know, the writing was all really, really good. The writing with, like, when we get to see the spirits in their natural form, you know, when they're at SGC, I thought all that writing was great, but the role of Tunani, like just the way they wrote him as like a simpleton, like I just didn't get it.
Yeah, like I every time he spoke, I pictured him standing on the side of the highway crying because someone littered.
Yeah,
like it was that sort of like simplistic, just kind of very stereotypical Native American. You know, he's wearing the garb, he's just acting out what we know to be true of them, and there was no building, there was no growth, there was no intelligence, there was no agency. He was just there. Yep.
And I guess really that was my biggest gripe about the episode, that, and, you know, we didn't get a whole lot that moved our overall story forward.
No, but I see that's why I like doing this with you, because I actually like those episodes.
Yeah.
Explore a little more in the overall world and sort of flesh out the universe a little bit better, because we have so much diversity and so many little stories that half of parts of which get told. And it just leaves, like, to me, some of the best parts of stories like this is what else could be happening. You know, like, I think that, and I this is my favorite example is, I think that the idea of Darth Vader in Star Wars is much better than being shown him in the prequels, because you build him up into this huge, massive villain, and he's a whiny little bitch who hates sand, who gets his arms and legs cut off because he jumped. You know, and I feel like we have some of that where there's so much room in Stargate, because of all the separate episodes, to have this huge world where you can sort of imagine anything, and there's all this fan fiction and all of these, you know, video games and books that sort of fill in some of the holes, and I just find that to be wonderful.
I really, okay, see, and I don't disagree with you necessarily on that. I don't know. When it seems like this season, especially, right? I feel that season 2 so far, between the first 2 seasons, because that's all we've gotten, season 2 has propelled things forward at a faster, better rate than season 1 did. So when I get these, what I'll call filler episodes, it just seems like such a letdown. You know, I'm like, oh, you know, like we just got like Thor's hammer, you know, and I get really excited to kind of start propelling things forward, and then you get these little filler episodes, and I'm just like, it just kind of throws me out of it a little bit. You know, it's not that I hate them necessarily; they're just not my favorite personally.
But here's the thing. You have the benefit, the wisdom of having watched this before. So you know which ones of these get touched on again and which ones don't. If you weight these episodes on their own rather than, oh, I know Thor comes back, some of these episodes that don't really propel the story forward, they're phenomenal.
Yeah. Okay. I can see where you're going with that, and I agree with you, right? If I was a first-time viewer, I would not know if we see the Nox again. I would not know if we see the spirits again. Okay. I didn't think about it that way, and yes.
No, yeah, but I mean, you're right. First time through, who gives a shit about some hippies in the woods? But they're the Nox. They're one of the big four.
Yeah, yeah. But as people that have, I mean, I'm guessing all of our listeners have seen these episodes multiple times, as we have, that going back through and rewatching these, then I start to feel like they're filler episodes.
I'm not telling you to change. I am just trying to take on the role of Toonani and have that childlike wonder.
Oh, Lord. Easy there, Lost Boy. All right. I don't want to go back down that road.
All right, fine.
But no, I completely see what you're saying. I do. And it's not that I don't disagree with you. I just think that, as somebody that, as you said, as somebody that has the foresight of knowing certain things in the storyline, I understand why these episodes have to be done. I understand why they're used the way that they are. I could just cut them out and just keep piling through, major story arcs. But
yeah, no, I think if I was given a list to somebody of episodes to watch, this would not be on there. If they're just going to watch through like the top 50 episodes, cut this one out.
Yeah, I agree with you there for sure. Whereas the next two episodes we're going to talk about, spoiler alert, I would definitely put those two episodes on a recommended list.
I don't see how you could skip either of them.
No, I don't either. So, any other final thoughts on spirits before we kind of move on to those?
I got a couple.
Yeah, let's have them.
When you start off the episode by opening a box marked quarantine, I get a little itchy. I start to think maybe you don't know what that word means. What else did I have?
So go ahead. Sorry.
No, because the NID are such stand-up guys, let's by all means go after the metal the way they want to. That's definitely how we should do this.
Oh, well, yeah, of course.
Oh, and the two other things, the aliens, the gesture they used to make people disappear. I don't know if you've ever seen the TV show Friends.
Oh, come on. I know exactly. Yeah.
That was the gesture they used to
Ross
convey
and,
dismay. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That was all I could think when I'm seeing these aliens make people disappear. It's just Ross getting angry.
Yep. And I'm glad you kind of brought that up. So one of the things I did want to talk about is that visually, we didn't get a whole lot of visual greatness out of this episode because a lot of it took either place on the reservation or their land or in the SGC. But I will say the spirits, once we got them in their natural form, they looked fantastic. Other than the clothing, the clothing looked very like 1960s, what aliens should look like.
So you didn't have a problem with their vagina faces. It was their clothing that you were focused on.
I'm just saying, man, like they spent all that time on like special effects for the face. And then they were like, just put them in a silver gown. We're good. Let's move on.
Yeah. And, when Teal'c zatted one of them and he fell face down, I think it was Hammond. No, it was, one of the other ones.
It was the doctor.
Yeah, that's what it was. He zats the doctor, he falls face down, and then he changes to the alien, and he's face up. And I was like, oh, that's a little awkward. But then they did it to Hammond as well.
They did
the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, it wasn't even that he was zatted. It was that he was, transforms and is facing the wall, and it was just a little awkward.
Yeah.
Awesome, though, that it was consistent.
Yeah, no shit. And at what point are Zat guns just going to become, like, do we know how many Zat guns they have, by the way? So
I don't even think we have to put an upper limit on it. I think they have as many as they want because they've just taken them from everybody.
And I'm good with that. Like, I'm okay with that. My thing comes, or my thought here comes into play is that when the Code 9 was issued, right, when the base goes on lockdown because these spirits are there, and they go to the armory, and of course, SG-1's the only people remaining besides Daniel, who's babysitting Toonani and showing him the storage room. they all like they gear up, right? They start grabbing guns and shit. And Teal'c's the only one that grabs a Zat gun. And in my head, I'm like, why aren't you all grabbing Zat guns? You know, like.
Yeah, I mean I think that does become standard issue not long after where we are now.
I hope so, because the very next episode I watched, Zat guns should have been played into again, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But yeah, I was just wondering. It's just one of those things that, like, I'm like, come on, guys, like, why didn't everybody just grab one? And you know, because clearly you don't want to kill these aliens because they're making people disappear. Why not use a weapon that can at least stun them? You know,
right? Exactly. You know, figure out where they're going, where they're bringing people, and go from there.
Yep. So that was those were the only two things I really thought about, or besides the Tunani thing, those were the only other two notes I had. So that's Spirits.
Yep.
Okay. So episode 14, Touchstone.
Yes.
Not Tombstone.
No, that's a totally different thing.
It is. R.I.P. Bill Paxton.
Poor Bill Paxton.
I know, dude. I guess we're not getting that Tombstone sequel.
Oh, I've been waiting for it. Holding my breath.
I know. Okay, Touchstone, why don't you talk to us?
All right. So an imposter SG team steals a weather device from a planet, and SG-1 uses the worst investigative methods to find it. Surprise, it's, you know, the NID, and they've activated the second Stargate that we found. And Mayborn may or may not actually know that they're doing this behind his back. I thought this was an amazing episode. This was one of the, and there's several that I am looking forward to watching because of like my memories of certain scenes in them. And this was definitely one of them. The scene where they activate the Stargate while it's laying down and then dive in it. It's just stuck with me since the first time I saw this show.
Completely agree. That visual, or just the way they chose to kind of do that, where, you know, the Stargate's on its side, and they just kind of, it's like diving into a pool. Well, that was the second time we've seen it, though, right? Because we saw that in Emancipation. No,
it was the one with Boy Meets World's dad. I can't think of the name of it.
Enemy Within, First Commandment.
First Commandment.
Yeah. So we saw it there, right? But it just looked so much better in that warehouse scene.
Oh yeah, where it ate its way out of the box when they activated it. Oh
yeah, completely cool. Before I forget, that was the other scene with the Zat guns where Hammond lets them go.
Right.
And he says, and there's a big speech there that says, under no circumstances are you allowed to fire a gun, right? Like you're not going to harm these people. At the end of the day, these are still Americans, and yada. But yet Teal'c has a Zat gun, and the rest of them are all carrying P90s, you know? And I'm like, why? Why not just everybody grab the Zat gun and go, you know?
It makes complete sense. I would definitely have done that. You know, I have, I guess, the benefit of hindsight knowing that they do that in the future, but still, that is the coolest weapon ever.
Yeah. Get some payoff on it, you know?
I mean, it is kind of game breaking. It is like, you know, the best weapon ever. Stun, kill, disintegrate.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love it. So yeah, this touchstone was stolen off Madrona. Was that the name of the planet? Madrona.
I think it was. Yeah. PX7941.
Yes. Yeah. That is Madrona. Everybody knows that. Duh.
Come on.
Please, people. Don't test us on our PX planets. We know this shit. Yeah, Madrona. Where was I going with that thought, dude? I don't know.
I don't even
know.
Yourself.
I do. See, I have superpowers.
Well, you know what? This was another city that we have, another planet where the civilization is built around the Stargate, like physically located near it. And they actually state that they have no idea how to use it. Yeah. So I have to ask, why are you here then?
Yeah.
Why are you right next to the Stargate? Like, why not go literally anywhere else?
All right. And I agree with you. We see this a lot. Not only is the Stargate it's the Stargate and the DHD are located right in the center of town. Like, they built their civilization around this, not knowing what it is. And as far as we know, nobody has really visited Madrona other than SG-1 prior to the theft, right?
Yeah.
So and they talk about how they don't know how to use it or whatnot. The only defense, the only argument that I can make for that is that the touchstone is what controls the weather on their planet, right? Like if they need, and they talk about it, that if their crops need rain, they adjust this touchstone and it rains, or if they need more sun, they can adjust it, or whatever the case may be. Maybe they just assume that the Stargate has something to do with that those are two artifacts that, as far as they know, are linked together.
Yeah, it's a religious idol.
Correct. That's I don't know. But I there are other times, other episodes that we watch this, that I'm like, no, there's no reason. Like, as far as I can tell, there's no reason that you would want to build, like, the episode with the, I can't even remember. The one where they all hide in the tunnels when they come through. Yeah. Cause they hunt them all down.
Korai. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the first time I think I complained about it.
Yeah.
And then there was the one with, the girl that comes through with the bomb in her chest.
Yep.
And that was another one where it's in the middle of a cornfield.
Yeah. No, I agree. Both those episodes, you would really have to go really far-fetched to try to fucking link that shit together. You know what I'm saying?
No, I know. And I get that it's production. It's
yeah, absolutely. I get why they do it. I just felt like this episode, I'm like, oh, okay, I can make the connection here. You know, like, okay, yeah, it's religious icons, and maybe they just thought, whatever.
I concede.
With Madrona, though, I thought the visuals were fantastic before they got, like, the really shitty weather,
Yeah.
Because basically when this touchstone leaves Madrona, their weather gets thrown all out of cycle, Their rivers are freezing and they're getting snowstorms and all this other stuff, but it reminded me a lot of, I'm not going to remember the name of the episode, the one where Jack gets stuck there and he's aging.
Oh, yeah. I forget the name of that one, too.
Yeah.
We're terrible tonight.
Well, dude, we haven't done this for 2 weeks. Give us a break, man. All right? Fire and Water?
Brief Candle.
High five. There it is. It kind of reminded me of Brief Candle in terms of like the technology and just the overall look of it. I thought it was a great look. I really did. I like this. I like what we saw of it. I would have liked to see more, but it is what it is. So
it even had a statue with a control device in it. So
it did. There was a lot of similarities there, man. Except we didn't steal the first one.
Yeah. No, we tried to.
Yeah. And can we also talk about that we got, would you say one of the top 3 famous lines of SG-1 came from this episode?
What was that one?
The part where Tilk's looking at Mayborn and he goes, I am, in my culture, I'm well within my rights to dismember you right now.
I loved that. I mean, the hatred that they have for him.
Yeah.
When they went and saw that gate and it was plastic too, I'm just sitting there going, well, yeah, that's because it's the mobile prop for the Stargate.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, so what else? What else did you love about this episode? Because I know you loved it.
I did. I loved it. I love how when they send the Malp through to the other Stargate.
Yeah.
Teal'c is like, oh, it's galaxies away. It's like, no, that's not at all how this works, buddy. No.
Yeah. No, that's Southern Nevada, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. No.
No, you're not galaxies away. You're just zip codes away.
When they got to the warehouse where the gate was being held and they're trying to sneak in, the look of betrayal on Teal'c's face for some reason was like one of those guys used to be his lover and is now not. If you didn't catch that, rewatch that scene. It's kind of fantastic with that as headcanon.
Are you talking about when they enter the warehouse and they're rolling up on the guys?
Yeah, he either used to be involved with one of those guys or he just smelled the ripest fart ever.
All right, I'm going to totally rewatch that scene tonight. I absolutely will. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and pay attention because I don't think in that scene that there is no evidence in there that Jack has ever fired or held a gun before.
Okay, one, I was going to say that his ability to fire around somebody is phenomenal. Like when they try to grab that case with the touchstone in it and he's like, no, and he's just fucking like free firing all around him. I'm like, come on, dude. Ray Charles would have accidentally hit somebody there.
If you saw the way he was holding that gun, though, it makes complete sense. He's holding it like it. Well, it smells like what Teal'c was smelling.
Yeah. I don't know. That one cracked me up though. Not once. I could have let it slide if they did that once, but then they did it a second time. I'm like, all right, people. Like, all right, we got it. But we got an introduction into Area 51, or the Stargate Universe version of Area 51.
Yep.
Which I thought was kind of neat because they're as they're meeting up with Mayborn, they got Mayborn's little lackey to give him a tour, and they've got, he talks about how, this is botanical, this is where we're working on cancer researches, and this is the metallurgy room and shit like that. So because we don't really get too many, I will say we haven't gotten a whole lot of episodes where they actually talk about the stuff that they've brought back off show, like, because we're under the impression that they're constantly going on these trips, and not just SG-1, but all these other SG teams, and they're constantly bringing back stuff back, whether it be plants or whatever the case may be,
Yeah, well, that's their mandate, and I think that having the Area 51, and this speaks to what we were talking about last episode, it's such a rich universe with all of that stuff that they can pull from for ideas for future stories.
Yep, and I agree, like, that works, and works very, very well. Oh,
absolutely.
So, what else about this? What other little pleasantries did you get from this one?
I love that there's a team of guys working against them that are now somewhere out there, and we have no idea where.
Oh, yeah, we don't. It's
they're through the gate. We didn't see where they went. We don't know if they have allies. We don't know if they went somewhere they're going to survive, if they dialed at random. I assume they didn't. I assume they went somewhere where they know they can turn around and go somewhere else. But I think it's like that sword hanging over their heads now. When's that going to drop?
Yeah. And really, I guess, I should have mentioned this earlier. I was so happy that we finally got the fucking payoff of the other Stargate.
Yep.
Like, we had not heard a peep about this fucking thing since they found it. And then
right.
we finally, we finally find out that it's basically, it was basically, privatized.
Yeah. For the most part, it was stolen by the highest bidder.
That's kind of the impression that I got.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah.
We don't know who that, largest bidder is at this point, No,
I assume Mayborn did it.
Yeah. He's at least borderline. That asshole was at least the middleman between the purchasee and getting the Stargate.
Oh, he is such an asshole, and I love him to death.
Yeah. They definitely have to have that character in this show, and they're using him correctly, in my opinion, where they're kind of just peppering him in.
Yep.
To episodes. He's not around all the time.
Nope, but we get name drops, and we get lackeys, and we get all this other stuff to kind of keep that agency alive.
No, and you have to. You absolutely have to. So, overall, just a great fucking episode. As far as we know, at this point, the SGC is in control of that second Stargate now.
Mm-hmm.
They welded an iris on top of it. The entire SG-1 was there to witness them putting the iris on top of it, and Hammond reassured them that it was coming back to the SGC with them. So,
yep, I'll believe that when I see it.
Exactly, and I still want some payoffs. I still want. Don't get me wrong. I was very happy to see the second Stargate come back into play, but I want some more creative uses out of that. I want it to be a more useful item or tool at their disposal,
Yep. Yeah.
So, yeah. Any other final thoughts on Touchstone?
No. It was, I don't want to say a flawless episode, but it was a really good episode that I had just minor nitpicky complaints about. That's it.
Yeah. And again, definitely an episode I would include in my top 20.
Yeah, even if just to show that the Stargate there's a second Stargate in action.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that it introduced us to enough new material, and enough future plot points that I would put it in my top 20.
Yep, makes the list.
Yeah. All right, last but definitely not least.
Nope.
The fifth race.
Yes, in the fifth race. So the gang finds a planet. Jack sticks his head in a hole in the wall and gets his brain fucked. After building some stuff that he has no idea what it is, connecting it to the gate for some godforsaken reason, and dialing up an 8th chevron, he's let to go through the gate against everyone's better judgment. And he winds up in the Ida Galaxy with Thor's people, the Asgard, where they fix him.
That's it. Good night, folks. That's all you need to fucking know.
There's really nothing else to this episode, but it is such a pivotal episode.
Correct. This right here, fifth race, is up there in the top 10 episodes for me.
Yeah. I think this is where we first get the name of the Furling. This is where we get confirmation that the Nox are one of the 4. Like, this is a huge pivotal episode.
Yeah. Yep. Totally agree. And not only is it a pivotal episode, but visually, I watched it trying to so when they get to wherever they get to that Jack fucking uploads or that downloads the database, right?
Yep, the ancient database.
Yeah. So the visuals from there forward were fantastic, and most of our time was spent in the SGC. But yeah, I don't know. It was just the way it was filmed. Everything looked great. The dialogue was spot on. Everything. I loved how they wrote Jack's character to slowly progress to not being able to know English anymore, just peppering in certain words or dialect or whatnot. I thought that was so well done. So well done.
Yeah. I mean, when they first get to that place with the circle on the floor, that is literally the only thing in this room. No one thought to step in it. No one thought to go near it.
Okay. All right. Look, I'll give him that. All right. It did seem weird, though, that, nobody, you all just stood in your own little fucking 2-foot bubble there, until right. Jack's like, fuck it, we are going home.
They walked around the circle in the floor, and then finally they accidentally walk through it, and the device appears on the wall. Yeah.
I don't know, man. Everything seemed very natural about that episode. They're going to send, so Jack, within this database that Jack has downloaded, is including a bunch of new Stargate addresses that weren't on the original cartouche from Abydos.
Awesome.
Fan-fucking-tastic. We just added, do we know, did that computer, because Jack basically rewrote the computer, did that save those addresses?
Yes, it did. Yeah.
Okay. So now we're given a whole new wealth of Stargate codes or addresses that we assume the Goa'uld don't know about.
Yep, that would be my assumption. Or at least don't know about most of them.
Or don't, at least, correct. There's a good chance they probably know about a couple of them just on a pure numbers game. But my assumption that if it wasn't on the cartouche, it wasn't at least general Goa'uld knowledge,
Or maybe they're the planets that they don't go to because they're protected for some reason.
Oh, they're like a Thor's hammer type of planet.
Exactly. It could be that there's another big bad threat out there for them, or some technology that can repel them. So, I mean, there's so much potential for us to find on those planets.
Yep. Totally agree. I just think that the setup that this episode gives us is so amazing. Absolutely so amazing. And even the end of that episode when, I got all pumped when I think this is the first episode where I heard the phrase Chevron locked so much. I'm like, that's the name of our podcast. That's pretty awesome. Thanks, guys. thanks for plugging the show for us. But even the final part of that where Jack dials out and ends up with the Asgard, man, the visuals were so good. Like I still have my gripes about what the Asgard looked like, even though I dig that the whole idea that they went with the whole traditional gray alien. Mm-hmm. The rest of it just looked fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even have to discount it for being 1998. This was a great visual. I loved how many of them there were. I loved how almost limitless the room that he went to looked.
Yep.
It just blew me away. Absolutely blew me away.
Really, I mean, the only thing missing from that would have been an appearance from Thor.
Yeah, which I don't know why they didn't, but I assume he's out. You know, we'll get to that later.
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. I mean, that would have been the only thing that could have, made that last scene any better, I think.
Not to sound racist or anything, but wait, that wasn't Thor?
I know. How do they tell each other apart? Like, there's no hair, there's no eye color. They're all relatively the same height.
They're probably saying the same thing about us.
Yeah, come on, how can you, man? At least they'd be like, that one's hair, that one's fur on the top of their head is shorter than that one's. You know what I'm saying? Like, very distinctive.
Obviously, Griegal Black's over here is 2 shades lighter gray than everybody else.
Possibly, sir. Maybe finger length, because they did have some E.T. style fingers.
Right? You don't know what they focus on.
You don't. Hopefully Reese's Pieces. What? Hey, Reese's Pieces, I'm looking for sponsors. What's up?
There you go.
But yeah, man, just a fantastic episode. Definitely one of those pivotal episodes. It's again, complete opposite, for me at least, the complete opposite of Spirits. Like,
okay.
Where Spirits was very much a standalone episode, this was an episode that propelled us fucking, a full season almost.
Right, because like I said, we get confirmation on the Big Four. We meet Thor's race, the Asgard, in their galaxy. They even compliment us and say that we're on our way to becoming the 5th race. We get so much more information about the Ancients, the fact that they are the gate builders. We get, what was the other thing I was going to say? We get confirmation that there is an 8th chevron.
Yes.
We get a schematic of the DHD. I mean, just that's 5 big things right there from this episode alone.
And just for anybody that wants a filler, the 4 races that they were referring to.
Yeah. So the 4 races are the Asgard, the Ancients, the Nox, and the Furling.
Correct.
So we've met the Nox, we've met the Asgard. We haven't yet met the Ancients, right? No, I don't think we ever meet the Furling.
Yeah, we definitely haven't met the Ancients yet.
Yeah.
I mean, Jack was the closest we just got.
Right. I mean, this is just, again, opening us up to so much we can explore in the future, and I love what they do with some of this info.
Even there was a speech, I think Daniel was talking to Carter. I'm not 100% sure about that. Where he was talking about the Romans, about roads.
Yeah.
And how the Romans believed that the Romans came up with the idea of roads, and they believed they got them from the gods, aka the ancients, and then how the roads are basically the stargates, connection. Like, just the way they wove real life, real world history in with this episode, and how they've done it throughout the show, and how they will continue to do it throughout the show. It's just always a great thing. I love how they'll take a real world history or fairy tale or myth or whatever you want to call it. The King Arthur thing, way the fuck down the line here. How they take something like that and then they apply it to their show, and they apply it specifically to, the different races or the different ancients or whatever the case may be. So,
yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, King Arthur is way down the road, but the guy who played Roham from Touchstone is Merlin, so maybe not as far down the road as you thought.
Okay, going back to Touchstone, by the way. I didn't know that guy was supposed to be blind.
I didn't get that until the end.
I'm like, I was like, what the fuck is this guy looking at right now? And then I was like, oh, that's why they're helping him walk around. Okay, this makes sense now.
I thought he was just throwing a little fit when he decided he's gonna look away from everyone.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no.
Yeah.
It wasn't until the end that it all clicked into place, and I was like, he's been blind this whole time.
Yeah, mind blown, dude. Holy shit, I felt like an idiot too.
At least I'm not alone. I got that.
No. But hey, could you have done us a favor? Could you have at least fucking put that for us a little bit more? You know,
give him those glasses and dog, you know?
Yeah, couldn't you have said something like, my blind uncle, you know, or something?
You'll have to excuse him. He's been talking to the wall for 10 minutes. He's blind.
Yeah, sorry. I actually meant to bring that up. Sorry. And
I didn't even have that in my notes. You're right. I forgot all about that.
Yeah. So, anyway, yeah, fifth race, just fantastic. Do you have any other notes about the fifth race or anything you wanted to talk about that?
Only about the 10% of the brain being used and how wrong that is.
Yeah. Go ahead.
You know, and it's a trope of science fiction. They use it in the movie Lucy. They use it, you know, pretty much everywhere. And it's patently wrong, but it still makes for a fantastic story.
Yeah.
I loved that. And it must have been hard for the guy that has a crush on Sam to watch her be trapped on that planet, slowly roasting.
Wait.
My heart went out to him.
Was that motherfucker back in this episode?
Yeah, he was. He was in the gate room.
Oh, that poor bastard.
At the computer. I know. Just to watch her struggle with this and to be there and not be able to help her.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he didn't fucking volunteer to go over there and help. Well, I guess he could. Well, yeah, no, because they could dial out to them. They couldn't dial back. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he didn't step up and say, hey, let me take these fucking thermal tents and all this other fucking heat resistant gear to go save the woman of my life, you know, the love of my life.
I'm coming, my love.
You know what? And again, I'm the last person to defend Carter, but she can do better.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
Not tough.
The two things in these 3 episodes though. One, Carter did not piss me off at all.
Yep.
In 3 episodes. In fact, so I like that sometimes these characters are written as the viewer. And there was a cool little part in Spirits where they're walking to the woods because they got to go ask the spirits if they can have their friends back. And Daniel says something like, hey, there may be a dance, or you may be asked to dance, or you just have to go along with shit, you know? And Tunani is like, well, that's so-and-so, just ask the dog. And she's just looking at him like, that's a dog, dude. I'm not going to talk to the fucking dog, you know? Like,
what are you, an idiot?
Yeah. So I do appreciate sometimes how they write those characters' point of view as the viewer point of view. Yeah. And that was actually a pretty good Carter episode. The second thing, however, is we got no one hitting an iris in 3 episodes.
Oh, I'm so sad by that.
I am too, dude. I am due. I am overdue for an iris blasting, if you will.
Well, we'll have to, you know what? I think if I remember correctly, next episode we're going to get something else. So
okay.
We'll have to watch for that.
Okay. That's the only reason I watch these shows now.
All right.
So,
I'm so excited for the next 3 episodes.
Are you?
Oh my God, yes.
Okay, well, just looking at the names, the names don't remind me of anything, so that's really awesome. So I'll have to, yeah. Well, now you've got me fucking excited, dude.
Good.
Well,
I cannot wait.
The guy who directed Fifth Race is directing our 2nd episode of next week, Holiday.
Yes.
Yep. And Peter DeLuise is directing an episode. Is that his first? No way. Yeah. This is the first episode directed by Peter DeLuise.
It has a link on my list, so yeah, it definitely does.
Okay.
Look at
so
that. I'm in.
Yeah, to fill you guys in now. So next week we're looking at A Matter of Time, Holiday, and Serpent Song. Holiday being directed by the guy who directed Fifth Race, and Serpent Song being directed by Peter DeLuise, who becomes a standard in the show, really. I mean, from this point forward.
One of Dom DeLuise's kids.
Yeah, R.I.P. Dom, dude. From years ago. I mean, really. Yeah, just fantastic episodes. I was so happy to be back into the mix of Stargate. So happy to be back talking to you about Stargate. I don't have any vacations planned up, so we should be good to go.
So I won't have to edit the episode at the last minute and post it.
Yes, I want to say
sitting here cursing you out because you said you were going to do it.
a big thanks to Kevin. He did edit our last 2 episodes. The last episode didn't get saved right and didn't update, and I had some car problems on the way home. So thank you again, big time, buddy, for taking care of that. I appreciate it.
Hey, man, anytime. I'm here to help.
Yeah, well, help.
As I said, I'm the best second man you're ever going to find.
Dude, you are totally the Scooby to my Shaggy.
And I'm happy to be the Scooby. That's all I ask for in life.
Dude, as long as you never become the Thelma to my Louise.
We're driving off that cliff, baby.
Dude, no way. I'm not driving anywhere with you. I'll drive right into a Stargate with you.
Well, we've already established you have car trouble, so I'll be the one driving.
No, past tense, had. We're good to go, buddy. We are good to go now, so. Thanks for everybody for listening. Thanks for everybody for downloading and for reaching out on Twitter and for putting up with our fucking nonsense, man. Our ramblings, our Stargate ramblings. That's what they've come. That's what they've become, and I love them.
That pretty much, that's all we do.
Yeah.
But tell a friend. I mean, you can definitely find links to us on our Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, or in the show notes, and on chevronlock.com, and rate us on iTunes, and make sure you spread the word.
Yes, please. But yes, thanks again for joining us. We look forward to next week, and everybody have a great night. Take care.
Good night.